Sorokin talked about these great people like Buddha or Christ. What they did was they accessed a unexhaustible source of loving, and that was their power. You see, so that is within us. That is our constitution. That is the evolution of us. So once we embrace that and agree with that, that starts building a basis of power. And then we agree that that's offered to everyone. And then it's their choice. Now, our standing for the loving is not standing against anything. You see? So by agreeing with the loving, we have the capacity to see opportunities and options which someone who's caught in the polarization cannot see. So we have a higher vision that comes out of this. And it's an intelligent thing. You say, well, loving isn't just, it's a powerful thing. It becomes so powerful in agreement with it that there's a relationship starts to form. See, where you're aware in a way and conscious in a way, where you can see options and alternatives that guide your speech. You know things to say that you wouldn't normally say. You don't put pressure on yourself to act a certain way or to live up to some kind of standard or to appear a certain way. There's no pressure. So you're free to not only respond for what's really there, you're free to respond to that as it is. See? So you're equal to it. You match it. If it comes against you, match it. See? So in a sense, its own force is meeting it. So what do you do when someone is on their soapbox declaring your position is the wrong one or bad, and they're going to stop you one way or another, and they have worked the law around against you, and they've arrayed their cohort in a way that's stopping you both directly and indirectly? Well, what do you do with that? I know where you start. You start by, what am I going to agree with? Am I going to, oh yes, they are doing that. They are doing that. They are doing that. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing, except being present in this loving place and being very sure that my person is good and that the propositions I'm proposing and standing for are excellent ones. And I don't know how I'm going to deal with these people, but I'm going to start out by listening to them and see what they have to say. And I'll listen to their position. And they go on about this. See, and that starts a process. That starts a dialogue that begins to shift what is going on. And we don't know where it's going to go yet. Will we lose out? Will they go ahead and corrupt our water or take over our neighborhood? See? Will they go ahead and do that? Well, I don't know. They might. But if we have that fear, then we're agreeing with the fear. So we just have to stay with the moment. Stay with what they're saying. Stay with our response to it. How is it going to turn out tomorrow? Well, we have to be in the present, you see. And so that's how we proceed with this agreement. And that's how our power, we have our power in what we agree with. So in the future memory, in the scenario planning, we're looking at situations where we treat it as if it is alive and we have lived it in the future. So it's like the past tense in the future. And we agree with that. See? We agree with that possibility as the one we prefer. And that performs a relationship. And what that does is make us more prone to live our life and make our choices in a way that will lead to that outcome. So that's one path. The other path I mentioned earlier, where we are prepared to respond in a creative way to whatever scenario comes up. Well, so I guess we could say this is the path of agreement. So let's settle for a moment and consider within ourselves our relationship to our work with each other. We have this fabric to weave called scenario planning. We have something to learn. We have a process to be in with each other and let the process work with us to guide us and coach us in how to be in a deeper agreement. So we say that the scenario planning process with each other is a way of practicing agreement. We are agreeing with each other in the process. And so we're building a power into the planning itself. So when we have an outcome and we have a story for it, there's also a consciousness with the story that comes out of our process of doing it. So in that sense, it's a living scenario. It has a relationship with itself. And we have a relationship to it. And then that trains us in having a relationship to any scenario. So this is your life. So go into your loving and say, yes, I want to take hold of my life in a way that I'm ready, that I am wise to the different possibilities, but I'm ready in myself, knowing that through my agreement with myself inside, I'm aligned with a greater understanding of what is occurring in the world. The chaos is a comforter in a sense, because I live in the formulation that transcends the chaos. I live in a place of peace and loving inside that is indisputable. Now at times I feel more aligned with it and more away from it. But that's the pulsations of my life. That's the rhythm of my life. It always fluctuates to high energy, to low energy. We're all live with bipolar that way. But that's not who I am. That doesn't define me. That's like you drive a car and you have to keep steering because the car has to be adjusted to the road. But that's not your identity. You're the one that's singular. You're the one that's awake. You're the one that's alert. You're the one that's responding to the duality of life. So we have this wonderful body and personality that's created to live in a world of duality. And then we have present in that this awakeness to our soul, which is of the wholeness, you see. And so that's the team. It's a trinity. And this is the process in which we move into it. So bring your love to the process, and it will be easy. Bring your againstness to the process, and your frustration, your separation, and the mystery of the scenario will escape you. So let's all together now, as you see this. Take a moment to move into that loving in your heart, in your presence. And keep going that way until you begin to sense each person in your cohort in that same heart space. In the presence, in the loving, we're in the same place. We're timeless. And being timeless, we're ready for whatever time has to bring us. By the time you can just start ordering of events, so events can unfold in a way that's comprehensive. So we all need this. And the world needs to go through this phase. It has its own pace. We may be worried when we hear the news, oh, will Egypt go away? It dominates people again. Will Syria win in its domination of people? Will its allies continue to support the domination? Will the Taliban continue to promote their perspective of life and regard for women? Is there still any Taliban in us that we need to love? In our regard for ourselves as men and ourselves as women? So let the loving keep working through you here and aligning you in the loving will right your scenario. Because it knows. So bless us. And thank you so much.